Hey guys, Brittany here from By Brittany Goldwyn. I post videos about plants and projects, and today we are talking about how to winter sow seeds. Winter sowing seeds is a great option if you'd like to start your own seeds, but you don't want to invest in all of the stuff that traditionally goes along with seed starting. So that means grow lights, seed starting medium, shelves that you attach the grow lights to, all sorts of different things, heat mats, all sorts of different things that you think you may need to grow seeds. Winter seed sowing is a way of growing seeds outside and using Mother Nature and your natural climate to your advantage when growing those seeds. All you need is a clear container like this old jug. You need clear packing tape, you need some sort of well-draining soil, and you need some seeds. So let's walk through the process of setting it up, and I'll talk a little bit about what you can and cannot grow based on your grow zone as we do it. Okay, so the first step is obviously to rinse out your container and to cut it in half. Now, if you have something like an old takeout container that has a clear lid, that's also something that will be a really good option for seed starting, or like those clamshell salad container things that can't be recycled. Those are good too. We are using a jug today. This is what I usually always use. I start hoarding them in like November, and then I use them throughout the late winter to winter sow my seeds. So first you want to cut it in half using scissors, and then you want to take a knife or something similar and poke just a bunch of holes in the bottom. And this is just to allow for some natural drainage. After you've poked your holes and you've decided what you're going to plant, you're going to grab some garden gloves and fill up the bottom with soil. So I'm not using like a specific seed starting mix here. I'm just using what I have on hand, which is a high quality potting soil. And I'm not even going to put that much in here. I'm actually only going to fill it up a couple inches so that the seeds have enough space to start those roots. They don't want to be wasting any soil here. So I would say that's probably about maybe 2 to 3 inches of soil here. And that's where I'm going to stop. The next step is to add your seeds. So I am using some bouquet dill seeds that I got for free from Greenstock when I ordered the spinner base with wheels for the Greenstock that they sent me. And what you're going to do is take some of the seeds and then just sprinkle them in to your container. So I like to use a sprinkling method for this. You can be a little bit more methodical if you want planting them. But I did this with dill last year, and I found that it worked out really well. Almost all of them germinated, and then I could just pick out what I wanted and discard the rest. Then you're just going to take a little bit more soil to gently bury those seeds. So just enough to cover them. And again, this is, somewhat based on what you're growing, but most seeds are fine with just a little light burying in here. And then when you're done burying the seeds, you can give them a little bit of water. My soil was already a little bit moist, so I'm not going to add any additional water. And then I'm going to tape some clear packing tape here and tape that lid back on. So it's just gonna be like this. So you tape around that area, and the goal isn't to get it perfect. It's just to get it to a point where it will stay in place. The lid will stay in place there. That's it. So what you've essentially made here is a mini greenhouse. Leaving the lid off, which you do leave the lid off throughout the winter, leaving the lid off will allow water to naturally get in, and then those holes you cut in the bottom will allow the extra water to drain out so that the seeds don't get too much water and the soil stays too moist. And then the top here, the fact that it's only open on top, will protect those plants from early frosts once they sprout and they start growing. So in terms of what you can grow in here, I generally in December will be starting things that need cold stratified. So that means milkweed, lavender, other things that need cold stratified that I can't think of. That basically just means they need a period of cold weather in order to germinate. And this is a very easy way of doing that. You put them in a container, you set them outside, and you let Mother Nature do its thing. It's okay if they're buried in a foot of snow. That's totally fine. I was skeptical the first year I did it too. I did not think that things would sprout sitting in the snow all year long or all winter long. You do want to wait until a little bit closer to spring before planting some things like annual flowers or vegetables. And then some vegetables you want to wait even longer, maybe like into April before you start sowing your tomatoes. So while it technically isn't winter sowing, it's still a bit early in the growing season for things like tomatoes. Now, I generally like to use winter sowing for things that need cold stratified or things that I think will do well in my climate. And here's the thing, like dill is not going to grow in the middle of the winter here, okay? So this is going to sit on my porch like it did last year and get water and get sunlight and get air and get all of the things it needs. And when it's ready to sprout, it's going to start sprouting. So it's very fun to peek into that top and check on your sprouts. When they get to the point where they've all sprouted and they're past their first 2 leaves, so they start getting their true leaves on whatever you're growing, if there's a nice day, you can take that tape off and take the top off of the milk jug. And what that will do is it will help harden off the seeds in a more natural way. So this means that you don't have to deal with the hardening off process of slowly acclimating your plants to your climate because they've already been outside and you've already been taking this lid off and exposing them to wind and air and direct sun and all of those things for small periods of time until you are sure that you are past the point where it would be dangerous to put them in the ground. Like for us, I wait until usually around early May for the last frost date, and I'm sure that nothing is going to happen. And then I plant them in the ground and they're ready to go and they transition beautifully. So I would definitely encourage you to check out winter sowing if you are interested in getting into seed starting without much of an investment up front. I will definitely do a video later on in the winter to show you guys the process. And yeah, it's really fun to sow seeds and things that you would normally just throw away and then watch them get pummeled with snow or whatever weather you get all winter, and then see them emerge in the spring as beautiful plants for your garden. So until then, happy planting.